Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here to present you my NBA morning shoot around for Wednesday, October 23rd. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all my NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for our DFS needs. So make sure to come check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So yesterday we only had a 2-game slate. It was a fun start to the season. Cash lines hit on both Fanduel and Draftkings. Looking to keep it rolling today. We got our first big slate of the season, 11 games. Earlier in the season, I definitely recommend, make sure you're being very, very tight, and following your bankroll management rules and et cetera. You don't want to go crazy to start the year. We still gotta, wait on rotations and see kind of who's gonna play what minutes, et cetera. We're a little bit in the unknown. So just be a little bit cautious is all I recommend to start the season. As the season goes on, we'll start to see trends. Things will start to unravel, and we'll get a lot clearer picture of what teams are trying to do. But hey, we're going to do our best to kind of, work our way through the first couple weeks and kind of, continue to make some money. NFL started off great, 7-0 with our cash lines. Yesterday did good with NBA. Right now the perfect time for you to join the money team. Check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. And hey, let's jump into today's slate. So, we got, like I said, a ton of games. I'm just going to quickly go game by game. We'll just kind of break it down and just kind of get out of here. I'm not going to spend too much time at each position. It's just going to a quick overview. We'll start at Detroit in Indianapolis. First we'll go with, you got Malcolm Brogdon coming over from Milwaukee. He's going to slide into that starting point guard role. I think Malcolm Brogdon at 6,500 is going to be a great piece for this team. I think he's a guy that you can look at today. On the flip side of things, you got Reggie Jackson. He's a game-time decision right now with the back. He is listed as probable. I expect him to play today. 5,700, I think that you can look at Reggie Jackson as a GPP play as well. We know that Blake Griffin is going to be out for a little bit. Last year, whenever Blake Griffin was out, it was the Drummond and it was the Reggie Jackson show. I don't really expect things to change. So I think that both of those point guards are in play. You got Jeremy Lamb. Jeremy Lamb's a guy that he's gonna start whenever he got to start and roll with Charlotte last year. The guy would definitely produce for us. 5,800 for Jeremy Lamb, I think is a great price. Definitely got to be in play today, going against this Detroit team. Then on the flip side, we got Derrick Rose out. The thing about Derrick Rose is if he's going to get minutes, we know that he can definitely produce. He still has it. We've seen that last year with Minnesota. I just don't know what kind of role he's going to be in with this Indiana team. So with him, you could throw him in a couple of GPPs, but it's more of a wait-and-see approach for me. In the small forward spot, TJ Warren, we've seen him killing the past few years. With the Suns, he's just always been on a bad team. Now he's going to be on a little bit better team with the Pacers. I think TJ Warren's a guy that you could definitely look at if he's going to be in that starting role. He's a guy that does a little bit of everything, fills up the stat sheet. He's always been one of those guys that coaches like to play a ton of minutes. So I definitely think that you can look at him today. I'm not really interested in too many of these other guys on in the small forward position. We know Blake Griffin's going to be out, so I think that you can look at some guys that we feel are going to kind of step in that role. Marquise Morris is the first guy that we're going to look at. He's going to start in place of Blake Griffin at 4,300. It's just a dirt cheap price tag. It's all about minutes with him, but I think that this is a good opportunity for Marquise Morris to play some minutes aside Drummond. 4,300, good price. I like him today. On the flip side, you got Domantas Sabonis. He got a new contract. He's looking like he's going to be in that starting lineup now. Along with Miles Turner. He's a guy that we would even play him off the bench, in the 3-man rotation. Now he's going to be in that starting role. I like Sabonis a lot. I think that he's in a good spot here. I'm going against Detroit. We'll finish it off with both of the centers. Both of these centers are pretty good defensive centers. You got Andre Drummond, you got Miles Turner. I think that they're going to kind of make it a little bit tough for each other. You can play both of them in GPPs. I really don't have much interest in cash games for them at all. Moving on to the next game, we got Chicago at Charlotte. Terry Rozier, he came in. He's going to play. I expect him to be the starting point guard out there in Charlotte. And, if he's going to get a ton of run against a Chicago team who's, still a young team, still probably going to be in rebuilding phase this year, I think it's going to be an up and down game. Rozier definitely in play. On the flip side of things, Chris Dunn, I don't know. We gotta see what happens. It depends if Chris Dunn or if it's going to be Sadaransky going to start. I mean, whatever one starts, I think that you could consider them. But if they're going to kind of be in a timeshare role, then it kind of scares me a little bit. Both guys definitely viable. We see Sadaransky what he did last year when John Wall went out with Washington. So we got to wait on the news and see who starts. And this is a tough spot. I really kind of want to stay away from timeshare situations earlier in the years till we get a more defined idea of where players are going to be at. On the shooting guard position, you got Zach LaVine. Definitely got to be in play. 8,000. The price tag isn't a give me price tag, but I mean, he's a guy who's going to get a ton of usage. I think that you could definitely look at him. Not really interested in these Charlotte guys. At the small forward spot, Otto Porter stepped in last year for Chicago after being traded and had a really, really good season. On the flip side of things, Batum. Batum's a guy that fills up the stat sheet as well. Both of these guys are definitely in play, Porter and Batum. If I had to pick one, I probably would go a little bit more with Porter just because Batum, he tends to fall, kind of fall in the corner and get lost a little bit compared to Otto Porter's a very active player. Then we got, the power forward spot. Marketing, the young guy, definitely going to get, his run. He's going to get a bunch of minutes in that starting role. You got to look at him. The price tag isn't a give me price tag, but I definitely think that he is in play. Miles Bridges, it's all about, what kind of minutes he plays. If he's going to be in the starting role and get some run, 6,500. I don't know how much I feel comfortable with that price tag, but definitely think he's a GPP play. On the flip side of things, you got Thaddeus Young. It's tough because at the beginning of the year, we don't know who's going to get what minutes. If Thaddeus Young is going to get a bunch of run, then you got to like him. We've seen him down the stretch in the playoffs last year, had a pretty good year overall with Indiana. And 5,200 is a really good price tag. If he's going to play around 25 minutes, I will like him. Marvin Williams on the flip side, he is available today. He's going to start. We know what he gives us. 4,200 is a good price tag, and the upside really isn't there, but I think he gives you a solid floor in that starting lineup. At the center position, you got Wendell Carter, you got Cody Zeller. I mean, you could look at both of those guys. Not really crazy interest in them though. Moving on to the next game, we got Cleveland at Orlando. We'll start with the point guard position. We're gonna look at Sexton definitely in play. The young guy Garland that they brought in. I think that he's gonna get a defined role in this offense, and he's gonna be the one that's actually gonna be starting. So I think that I gotta wait and see with him. I mean, if Garland's going to be the starter, Sexton's going to be one off the bench, and Sexton's the more expensive one. I don't know. Maybe Sexton's going to be that 6-man role and play point guard and shooting guard. Then I can see him getting around 30 minutes. But if he's just going to be the backup for Garland, it's tough, and I don't know how I really feel about that. DJ Augustine, Markel Fultz. We got to figure out what's going on with that situation. Who's going to get the run? I'm really more looking just for clear guys that have clear defined roles. And there's some teams that don't have that. You got Fournier. I expect him to get about 30 minutes. Terrence Ross is going to be that 6-man off the bench. Same thing for Jordan Clarkson. He's going to come off the bench as well. All three of these guys are GPP plays, but strictly GPP plays. Small forward, if Larry Nance is going to start at 6,300, he's going to get around 30 minutes. He's a guy that's a very good point per dollar kind of guy. It's just all about minutes with him. So I think that he'll definitely be in play. Isaac on the flip side should get some run in that starting lineup as well. Throw him in there. Cedi Osman, he's a guy that really came on the scene last year, and if he's a guy that got a bunch of run, if he's going to continue to get run, we know this guy has a little bit of upside at 4,800. Great price tag for him. Aaron Gordon, Kevin Love, both of these guys definitely in play. Kevin Love at 7,200, if he's going to play, 30 minutes. I mean, I think this is a very, very good price tag. Kevin Love's a guy who fills up the stat sheet quickly. And then Aaron Jones on the quick side for 100, on the flip side for $100 more. He's in play also. For me, I personally would rather go with Love in this spot. And then to finish it off with centers, you got Vucevic, you got Tristan Thompson. I think that you can kind of look at Vucevic, 9,100, a very good price tag for him. Tristan Thompson's a pretty good defender. He is no slouch, but Vucevic is a baller. I mean, it is what it is. He has, 50, 60 fantasy point upside. And at 9,100, all you need is 45 for value. Then we're going to move on. Next game we're going to talk about, we got Minnesota going into Brooklyn to face the Nets with the new addition of Kyrie Irving. 9,000 for Kyrie. Man, I mean, it's saying that he'll play significant minutes. He plays significant minutes in the final preseason game. I expect him to, play his regular minutes, around 35 minutes in this game against Minnesota. Brooklyn's going to want to come out and definitely get a win, their first game of the season. Kyrie's a GPP play for me, but he is in play. Teague on the other side, 6,300. If he's going to get, the minutes that we expect him to get then I like Teague. 6,300. He's healthy. If he's going to play 30-plus minutes, definitely got to be in play. Spencer Dinwiddie is kind of the same thing as when D'Angelo Russell was there last year. He'll come in. He'll come in as the backup point guard. The point guard will come back in. He'll go play some shooting guard as well. I got to wait and see how much minutes that he has because Kyrie's going to get his minutes, but you definitely got to think that Dinwiddie is in play as a GPP off the bench. Shooting guard position, Andrew Wiggins, Karis LeVert, both of those guys are in play. I would give the nod a little bit to Wiggins just because they're going to need his scoring. They're going to depend on him a little bit more. He's going to be close to that same role that he was last year. Compared to Karis LeVert, yes, they're still going to need a lot from him, and he's definitely in play. He's a guy that can get fantasy points up quickly, but I got to see if he's going to come off the bench or if he's going to start. Last year, he did a little bit of both of them, but they're not going to need him as much with Kyrie there compared to last year. Small forward spot, Tyron Prince, if he's going to get the start not at 5,000, definitely in play. Joe Harris, if he starts over Prince, I think Joe Harris is in play. I got to kind of wait and see what happens with the starting lineups. Yesterday, I took a couple guesses on the starting lineup, and I ended up being wrong, and it's just the beginning of the season. That's kind of what happens. Power forward spot, Robert Covington. He got traded to the 76 from the 76ers. Ended up having a pretty good, pretty decent run when he was with the Timberwolves. Nothing special, but if he's going to be in that starting lineup, you're going to play a bunch of minutes. You got to look at him at 6,400. Jarrett Allen at the same time. They moved him to a power forward spot, 5,800. I mean, I'm not really going to pay this price tag on him. I would want him in that starting lineup if I was going to pay that. One guy kind of standing out to me a little bit is Von Lay. He agreed to a contract with Minnesota. I don't know if he's going to start or if he's going to come off the bench. He started a lot last year for the Knicks, and he had a good year. He had one of the best years he had at a dirt cheap price tag of 3,900. If he's going to get that in the starting lineup, I definitely think that you can look at Von Lay. And then at the center spot to finish it off, you got Karl-Anthony Towns. It's a tough matchup against DeAndre Jordan. But Towns is, he's the best player on this team, and they're going to need him if they're going to have a good year. DeAndre Jordan on the flip side, I'm not really interested in him. At 6,200, though, he definitely could hit value for you. It's going to be weird, man. I'm curious if they're going to start. I haven't seen nothing yet. I'm curious if they're going to start Jarrett Allen and if they're going to start DeAndre Jordan together. As of right now, based on the news, I think that they're going to put Jarrett Allen in a backup spot for DeAndre Jordan. If they're basically going to split minutes, then I don't really like neither one of those guys. Next game we're going to talk about, we got Memphis going into Miami to face the Heat. The Heat definitely have, a couple of new pieces. We'll start at the point guard spot for Memphis, J.A. Morant. I mean, the price tag is crazy high. He had a really good preseason, though. That's one thing that I definitely will give him. He's a guy that's he's gonna be a really, really good player in the league. I just don't know if I want to pay $7,800 for him right out the gate, going against a Miami Heat team that they've been known for defense the past couple of years. Yes, they lost a couple players, but at the same time, they got the same coach who preaches defense. J. Morant, 7,500 GPP play. On the flip side, you got Goran Dragic, who's going to start 5,800. I mean, this is a price tag for a really good price tag for Goran Dragic. I think you could play him in cash games as well. He's going to get around 30 minutes. Like I said, same coach, and the coach liked to play this guy a lot. So I like him, man. I think that if I was going to go with these 2 point guards, definitely Morant has more upside than Dragic, but Dragic isn't a slouch himself. Moving to the shooting guard spot, Jimmy Butler, the new addition to Miami. He's going to get as much. He's going to get as much run as possible. I mean, it is what it is. They're already down a couple players, and he's their new best player, 8,800. Oh man, I think you can get him in a couple of GPPs. I don't know how comfortable I feel in cash, especially if he's going to be matched up against Kyle Anderson, who's a really good defender. But I definitely think that Jimmy Butler isn't playing GPPs. Also, you got Dion Waiters, their other shooting guard suspended. I mean, Jimmy Butler doesn't have a real backup. I mean, the only other backup that he really has is this guy Tyler Hero, and I think that this guy Hero is going to play. I think he's going to play more small forward is what I think that they're going to do with him. So it doesn't really affect Jimmy Butler. This guy, though, Hero, I watched him in the preseason, and this guy's a really, really good player. And I think that he's a guy that we could kind of look for early in the year. Dion Waiters is only suspended for 1 game, so it's not, like he's going to be suspended for a long time. But Tyler Hero is going to get his run. They drafted him. They like him. I think he's a guy, 3,600, GPP dart. Small forward, Justice Winslow, we know what he gives us, fills up the stat sheet. I expect him to be in that starting lineup. He pushes the ball. He has ball handling duties as well. I think that Justin Winslow, GPP play at 6,000. Josh Jackson, we've seen what he did last year. Actually, the past couple years, we've seen what he did out there in Phoenix. He's a guy that can definitely play. It's just all about, if he can get some run. It really is what it is. But yeah, I mean, we got to wait and see. I've seen a lot of stuff that he was playing in the G League, trying to get better, etc. But I think that he will be in the rotation. If he is, he's a guy that I'm not really going to play him right now because I want to see how many minutes he gets. He's a guy, not right now, but maybe later down the line. As the season goes on, we could look at Josh Jackson out there in Memphis. I want to see the minutes. That's the biggest thing. They also got Jay Crowder as well. So, do we want to play the veteran or we want to kind of develop the young guy in Josh Jackson? The decision that they're going to have to make. At the power forward spot, you got Jaren Jackson, kind of came to his own last year, had a pretty good season, out there for the Grizzlies. I think that, 7,400, the price tag is a little too high for me today. But in the future, I think that he's another guy that we can look at. Bam, they really like Bam. We know what we're going to get from him. They got rid of Whiteside because they wanted to get Bam some more run. The price tag is up as well. GPP play for me, but I mean, he does have a little bit of upside. Jonas Valanciunas, we seen last year when he got traded, kind of he was doing really good, man. But the thing we got to wait on, he may be on a minutes limit today. We got to wait and see what we hear about that. But we know he's a guy that can definitely fill up the stat sheet quickly. Kelly Olynyk, him and Bam are going to be the main pieces down low. They're going to get a lot of run. Kelly Olynyk, fills up the stat sheet. Hit some threes as well. 5,000, I think, is a pretty good price for Kelly Olynyk. Moving on to the next game we're going to talk about, we got Boston going into Philadelphia to face a new look 76ers. Let's face it, man, 76ers are just stacked. There really isn't much else to say about it. We got to wait and see. Ben Simmons, he was questionable going into today with a back injury. He is a full participant in practice, though. I do expect him to play today against the Celtics. 9,600, strictly GPP, though. They got so many pieces on this 76ers team. I need to see kind of how they're going to run the offense, who's the ball is going to be going through before I can make more of an educated decision on that. Kemba Walker, 8,700. He's going to be the new Kyrie for Boston. He's basically going to be in the same role that he was for Charlotte, but with a couple better role players. I like him. I definitely like him. GPP play, same thing as Ben Simmons because the price tag is a little bit up. Shooting guard spot, Josh Richardson, the newly acquired shooting guard for Philadelphia. Definitely in play, 6,200. Jaylen Brown on the flip side, 5,700. He's in play, just got a new contract. They really like him out there in Boston. He's going to get his run. They're going to need extra scoring. With no Kyrie, it's going to be a lot of people that have to step up out there in Boston. Marcus Smart on the flip side of things, 4,800. I'm curious to see how the starting lineup ends up coming out. If it's going to be Smart, if it's going to be Brown, or if they're going to play both of them, put Tatum at the 4. They have some options out there. I'm curious. I got to wait and see on that. Small forward, Tobias Harris, 7,400. I actually like Tobias Harris in this spot. I think he's a guy that I think he's going to get his no matter what. He's going to rebound for you, going to get you around 15 points a game. Compared to Ben Simmons, I think Tobias Harris, I like him a little bit more just because he's a natural scorer and he's going to do, other stuff outside of scoring. Where Ben Simmons, it's either he's gonna have the game where he gets you close to a triple double, or he kind of has those off games. Tobias Harris doesn't have as many off games in my opinion. That's why I think I like him a little bit more at the price tag compared to Ben Simmons. Gordon Hayward on the other side, he's a guy I'm curious about as well. I'm curious if he's going to start, if he's going to come off the bench. So I don't know, man. We're gonna see. So it's saying that he's expected to enter the starting lineup at the power forward spot, but that's tough though. How are they gonna put Gordon Hayward at the power forward spot going against Al Horford? It's a complete mismatch for sure. So I'm curious. We're gonna kind of have to get a wait and see on that. Al Horford, I just mentioned, 7,000. Jason Tatum on the flip side at 6,900. Both of these guys in play. Both of them GPP plays on their price tag. Gotta like him. The Al Horford has a little bit of that narrative too that Celtics were his team last year. Then you got Joel Embiid. I mean, this is a game he can have an absolute field day this game, especially if he's going to get a matchup against Enes Kanter. If Kanter's going to be that starting center, Kanter's a guy I really like, and I play him. I play him over and over, and I'll play him some this year. Don't get me wrong, but if he's going against Joel Embiid, Kanter isn't a very good defender, and Joel Embiid will absolutely eat here. So we got to wait and see what happens with that. I like Joel Embiid in this spot though, going against Boston. Played centers last year against Boston, and they lost Al Horford. I think that the matchup's even better now. Moving on to you got the Knicks going into San Antonio to face the Spurs. You got the DeJounte Murray back coming off the knee injury that kind of kept him out most of the season last year. They gave this guy a pretty good sized contract as well. They like him. He's a guy I expect is going to get his minutes. I don't know if they're necessarily going to ease him in or not. That's something that I'm curious about. On the flip side of things, with the Knicks, I don't know what to do because they got Dennis Smith, a pretty good point guard, and he's shown us upside before, but he's very inconsistent. They also brought in Alfred Payton, who's a pretty good starting point guard in this league himself. So I don't know, man. I don't know who they're going to start this year. But either way, I think both guys, for me, I'm going to kind of take a wait and see approach and see who ends up emerging as that starting point guard. I think they'll start the season off with Dennis Smith just because he was there last year. But I wouldn't be surprised if Smith plays inconsistent and Peyton takes over that starting nod. He's a really good point guard. Shooting guard position, you got DeMar DeRozan, it's going to be him. It's going to be Aldridge. Same story as last year. 8,200 against this Knicks team. I definitely think this is a good price, good spot for DeMar DeRozan. And then you got R.J. Barrett on the flip side. You got the young rookie, had a pretty good preseason for the most part. I want to see kind of how he does, this year. I think he's going to be an exciting player, a good player for the Knicks. I don't necessarily like the matchup for going against San Antonio, though, who's usually a fairly good defensive team. I think you could use R.J. Barrett as a GPP, but that's really where I'll be at with him. Small forward, Rudy Gay. I like Rudy Gay, 5,700, especially if he's going to be in that starting role. I think that you can look at him. Kevin Knox on the flip side, the young guy had a pretty good year last year when they gave him minutes. I think that he'll get his run. I think he'll definitely get his run. 5,200. I think that he's a guy you can look at in GPP. Power forward, you got LaMarcus Aldridge, going to play a ton of minutes, going against this Knicks team. I like Aldridge a lot. I was going back and forth. Do I like DeMar DeRozan or do I like Aldridge more? For me, I think I'm going to have to go with Aldridge with the fact that Mitchell Robinson, the good rim defender for the Knicks, is going to be out. I really don't know, what other big guys they're going to throw at LaMarcus Aldridge is going to kind of, be in his way. They got Randall, they got Marcus Morris, they got Bobby Portis, all these guys. they could throw at LaMarcus Aldridge, but they're all undersized in my opinion. So I think Aldridge, good spot today. Randall on the flip side, I think that he's a guy that's going to get some run. You could throw him in there. GPP. When it comes to Marcus Morris, when it comes to Taj Gibson, I want to wait and see what happens with their minutes. And same thing with Bobby Portis. I don't know what kind of minutes he's going to get as well. He may get that starting nod, with Robinson. If Portis is going to be a starter, he's going to get 25 minutes at 5,100. I think that you could consider him. Celtics don't really have a good center, good big. Not Celtics. San Antonio doesn't really have a really good center, a big man that could kind of like make things tough down there for Portis. So I think that he's a guy that you could definitely look at if he's going to start today. Moving on, we got Washington going into Dallas to face the Mavericks. Luka Doncic definitely going to be in play. Not 10,000. That's the only problem with him is the price tag is crazy high. We know what he gives us though. Has triple double upside every night. Definitely got to be in play. Isaiah Thomas is out today. It's looking like possibly Ish Smith is possibly going to be the starter. If Ish Smith is going to be the starter for this Washington team at 4,700, I think he's a guy that you could definitely look at. He's a guy that fills up the stat sheet, gives us a little bit, of offense as well. So I got to kind of wait on that lineup situation right now before I kind of make that decision. Next we got at the shooting guard spot, Bradley Beal. I mean, definitely is in play. It's just, do I want to pay 9,800 for him? That's the big question mark. On the flip side, you got DeLon Wright. He's a guy that we know he can fill up the stat sheet, can do a little bit of everything. I'm just curious about how much run he really is going to get because Mavericks, I mean, they have some decent depth. You got DeLon Wright. You also got Courtney Lee that'll get a little bit of run also at that small forward spot. Tim Hardaway, 5,300. He's going to be the starter. I think he's going to be the starter. Like I said, they have some guys, so we have to wait and see. If he's going to start, though, and play around 30 minutes at 5,300, I definitely think that there'll be plenty of wide open shots for him because of, Doncic and because of Porzingis. Bertans, he's not a guy I really, really am crazy high on. If he's going to start, possibly look at him as a GPP play. At the power forward spot, Porzingis, 7,700. See, I got to hear if there's a minute limit or not. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me. If there's not going to be a minutes limit on Porzingis, he's going to play around 30 minutes at a 7,700 price tag compared to Doncic, 9,800, $2,100 less. I probably would take the savings on Porzingis. Like I said, we got to wait and hear, see if we hear anything about a minutes limit or whatnot. At the center spot, you can look at Thomas Bryant. He's a guy that definitely came in last year, and he had a really good run. When he was the starter, 6,800 price tags up. One thing I do want to mention though is Mahimi, his backup, is out. So I think Thomas Bryant is going to get all the run that he could possibly get. Dwight Powell for Dallas is out as well. So I think that you can see Boban. Getting some run, and at a bare minimum price tag, if Boban's going to be the guy that's going to start, man, I like him a lot. If he doesn't start, it's going to be Porzingis, and Porzingis is going to get the run, then I think that that's an uptick for Porzingis as well. Moving on, we got OKC going into Utah to face the Jazz. Chris Paul, 8,200. They're going to need a lot from Chris Paul if this OKC team's going to be competitive. I think that you can look at Chris Paul. I think he's a guy that's going to have a pretty good season without James Harden. I know it's crazy to say he's going to have a better season without James Harden, but they're going to rely on him more, and that's why I think he's going to have a better season. I like Chris Paul. On the flip side, Mike Conley, 7,800. He's a guy that he's going to get. So he's going to get his run. He's going to play around 30 minutes a game. I feel like Chris Paul and Mike Conley are almost the same player. The biggest difference is Mike Conley has a couple other pretty good weapons as well, whereas Chris Paul, it's really just Chris Paul, and he has a couple role players. Both guys are good defenders, though, so I don't know if neither one of them are going to have crazy good games today. But I definitely think you may have to, at their price tag, you can look at them as GPP plays. A guy that should start in a shooting guard spot, Shane Gilgeous-Alexander. He showed us last year with the Clippers that he could definitely play. 6,400. I mean, I don't know how much upside he's really going to give us there, but I think that you could consider him in GPP. He's going to be low owned. Donovan Mitchell, 8,400. I'm curious to see how he does with the real point guard and Mike Conley. I don't know if I necessarily want to play him today. just because it's not really a give me price tag, but he's a guy that I feel is going to have a really good season. If you want to play him, you can look at him in GPP. It's going to be low owned. Dennis Schroeder, 5,300. He's going to come off the bench. Nobody likes starting this guy, man. I don't know why, but he's a good point guard, and I think he's gonna be that six man, the backup point guard plus the backup shooting guard. He's gonna get around 30 minutes a game, and that's what Dennis Schroeder does. I don't know, man. I want to see kind of the rotations before I jump really deep into kind of people's benches. Small forward, you gotta look at Danilo Gallinari. Definitely in play. He's their second, third best player. They're gonna depend on him to score. I don't like the price tag of 7,800 against a pretty good Utah defensive team, but I definitely, like I said, I think he's gonna play in GPPs. Bogdanovich, he had a pretty good year last year. We know that. I think that he's going to jump right into this spot. He's going to play. He's going to play a bunch of minutes, and at 5,600, I think that he's a guy that you could consider in GPP as well. Problem with Bogdanovich, he has Joe Ingles also. Joe Ingles, he signed a good deal with. I'm sorry. He signed a pretty good contract with the Jazz, 1 year, 14 mil. I expect him to get the start nod. If he's going to start, and then you got Bogdanovich coming off the bench for him, I mean, it kind of takes both of those guys out of play because I think both of those guys will kind of split minutes. And also, too, you got Royce O'Neal kind of waiting in the wings that we know that Jazz likes him as well. I'm at the power forward spot. I don't really see nobody in this game that's really kind of jumping out to me. I want to see who's going to start. That's the biggest thing for me. It's looking like Ed Davis. He's not going to start, but I think he's gonna get some run. He's going to be like the first big man coming off the bench. I think that's kind of the role that Ed Davis is going to have. Like I said, got to kind of wait and see. New season, new roles for a lot of people. Nerlens Noel, he's a guy that if he's going to get some run, he fills up the stat sheet quickly as well. But it depends on if he's going to get minutes, and that's really what it is with both of these guys. At the center spot, Gobert, Adams, both good defenders, both really big guys. I don't like neither one of them because I think they kind of take away from each other. So I'm not really too interested in the center spot there. One guy that's kind of I'm a little bit curious about is Mike Muscala. He's a big man. He can get some rebounds. He can hit some threes as well. He may start. If he starts, for OKC at 3,700, I think that he'll be a pretty good value play. It's got to wait and see, like I said, what the lineups come out with. You got Denver and Portland, basically the main event of the night. You got two playoff teams, two really, really good teams going at it in Portland. Damian Lillard, 9,500. We know what we're going to get from him. He's a guy that he's not going to get. He's the best player. He's going to get his. There is no if, and, or buts. I don't really want to pay 9,500 against a pretty good defensive team last year in Denver, who will basically have the same players. But I think that he's a GPP play, Damian Lillard. On the flip side, you got Jamal Murray, 7,100. He's a guy that can score the ball. He's pretty good. He is pretty good. The problem is sometimes he has those games where he just gets lost. GPP play, but I definitely think that you can look at him. Monte Morris, I think he's going to be the first guard off the bench. They really like this guy. He had a really, really good really, really good season last year. He's locked in as a backup point guard, and I think he'll even get some shooting guard run as well. He's a guy that can score the ball, handle the ball very good. I want to kind of wait and see with him what kind of minutes that he actually gets. CJ McCollum, I think he's definitely in play, 7,400. Gary Harris, I'm curious if he's going to start or not. He's always been a starter, but they got some guys there. But 5,500, if he's going to play close to 30 minutes in this game, he gives us defense. He can knock down some shots. I like him, man. I think that he can have a good season this year. Last year, he was kind of plagued by injuries. Outside of those two guys, Malik Beasley will get some run. Torrey Craig's probably going to get some run. But I want to wait and see kind of who emerges as the real backups that are going to get some minutes. Will Barton at 5,100, if he's going to get that starting nod, he's going to play around 30 minutes. Great price tag for him. I think that he'll be a great play. He's a guy that we know fills up the stat sheet for sure. It's all about if he's going to be in that starting role. But like I said, if he is, I like him. I think he'll be a great, great play on tonight's slate. Kent Bazemore, he's a guy that's tricky. Him and Rodney Hood, because they're both going to come off the bench. They're both going to be backups, but I don't know that they're almost like the same player. I just think that Kent Bazemore is a little bit more active. I'm sorry. I think that Hood is a little bit. I mean, Bazemore is a little bit more active than Hood, but I think Hood is a guy that kind of earned the coach's trust last year in the playoffs. So this is kind of a wait and see for me. But I like Barton for sure. Power forward, Paul Millsap definitely in play. The only thing that really scares me about Millsap, I think he's going to get his minutes, but the coach never really played him big minutes last year. He's always played like the low 30s to the high 20s. Then they got a guy in Grant who they really, really like. So I think him and Millsap can kind of split minutes, and that's what's making it a scary situation. Those two guys, no thank you with that. I'm going to kind of take a wait and see approach. Also, they got Michael Porter they're going to throw in the mix as well. Sinners, you got Jokic going against Whiteside. Jokic, triple-double upside any night. 10.8. I don't know if I really want to pay that for him. Going against a defender like Whiteside, who is a tough matchup. I'm not really interested in either one of these sinners on today's slate. Moving on, final game of the night, we got the Sacramento Kings. I think they're going to have a pretty good season. Going into Phoenix to face the Suns. We'll start at the point guard spot. You got De'Aaron Fox. It's going to be a very up-tempo game, back and forth, nonstop. I don't know if I like this price tag on Fox, but I do like him this season overall. Ricky Rubio, 6,900. I feel like his price tag's up a little bit as well. He has triple-double upside. I'm not really feeling these 2 point guards today, but, I don't know if I had to choose one. I probably would take the little bit cheaper price of Rubio. I just want to see the minutes because out there in Phoenix, they also got Tyler Johnson, who's a pretty good point guard as well. They may give Tyler Johnson some run at the shooting guard spot. I got to see the minutes on that. You got Devin Booker. You got Buddy Hield, two really good shooting guards. Plus, you got Bogdanovich as well, who's another really good shooting guard. I got to see the minutes. That's what's really getting me right here. Booker, I know he's going to get his minutes. The problem with him is 9,000. You need 45 for value. Is he really going to get us that tonight? He could. Definitely the upside's there. I just wish he was a little bit cheaper. Buddy Hield coming off, he just got a new contract extension. They like this guy. This is a guy that's going to get his minutes. I think 7,000 GPP play for Buddy Hield. Bogdanovich on the flip side, his minutes are the one that I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him. He's the I'm like, ugh. I know that they like him. They offered him a contract extension, etc. I just don't know where he's going to get his minutes from. That's the thing that's really scaring me with Bogdanovich. Small forward, Harrison Barnes, he got his nice little contract. I think it was the end of last year. He's going to be there for a couple years. They like this guy. 5,600. He's going to give us 25 to 30 fantasy points. I definitely think Harrison Barnes is a really, really good play. On the flip side, Kelly Oubre, if he's going to start, that's the biggest thing. If he's going to start, he's going to play around 30 minutes. You got to like Kelly Oubre, man. Last year he was in the 7,000s after coming over to Phoenix. They gave him a bunch of minutes, and he was just absolutely killing. So I want to wait and see what happens with the starting spot right there, small forward for the Phoenix Suns. Marvin Bagley, I expect this guy's going to have a really good season this year. He should be a starter. He should play a bulk of minutes if he stays healthy. I like him, man. I think that he's going to be a guy who can have a breakout season this year. And Harry Giles is out, could be a couple extra minutes for Marvin Bagley. Saric Kaminsky for the Suns. I don't know how I really feel about these guys. I'm not really too interested. I think there's some other guys that we can look at the center position. Dedmon is going to start for Sacramento. Dedmon's a guy. He can fill up the stat sheet, 5,300. I think there's a GPP play for me, but I think he is in play. DeAndre Ayton at 8,500. He's just a little bit overpriced. I wish he was around 7,000. I would say, hey, play him for sure. The 8,500 price tag makes me a little nervous. Definitely think you can look at him as GPP consideration though. So that's really where I'm at for my NBA morning shoot around for Wednesday, October 23rd. If you want a more in-depth analysis on today's slate, you want some cash game plays, there's some really deep GPP plays. We got a bunch of different NBA articles up. Check it out, dfscheatsheet.com, and then good luck on your guys' contest tonight. All right, peace out.